Welcome to our third episode of How to Be Human. Today's episode is also sponsored by BHuman. BHuman allows you to generate personalized videos at scale by mimicking your voice and your face. Now you can unlock human connections at scale. Today with us is Howard Davidson. Howard, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
So tell us a bit about yourself. How did you get started? What inspired you to launch this project?
So I've been a long-time creative director, started my career at Gray Advertising, worked on a tremendous amount of CPG, got into technology some years back, and basically after doing it for a lot of years, I sort of thought the time was right to take advantage of all the virtual technology that's available to us, as well as client acceptance for virtual agencies. So basically, myself and two partners who are located in other parts of the U.S., we sort of decided to come together, form Butter, which is the name of our agency, as a virtual network to offer clients a very lean, senior level of marketing and advertising services.
I see. So I'm guessing it was an easy start. What are 3 things you wish you knew before getting started?
Well, fortunately, I've had a lot of experience with learning over the years, my share of failures. So far, I actually haven't encountered anything too surprising. Like the first time I did a startup, and this was about 15 years ago, I didn't know anything about the financial management. So I wish I would have known more then, because that was pretty rocky. But I think between myself and my two partners, actually we have not encountered anything overly surprising to this point in time. I think I would have liked to have known a little bit more perhaps about how to leverage LinkedIn for driving greater engagement. So that's been a learning process. I probably should have put more time in there beforehand. So there's one thing, but
Okay.
I can't think of 2 others.
Okay. So as you know, we have a lot of followers who are thinking of starting their own startups.
Yeah.
Maybe lessons you could give them for someone who's thinking of launching their own
Sure.
project?
Sure. I think key is when you want to start something up, have a distinct point of difference. I mean, write out a mission statement, which is some of the steps that we went through. Like, what makes you different? Why are you going to be interesting to clients? What are the sort of unique services that you could provide? So basically, it's like selling a product or service. What's your your unique selling proposition, to use an old term.
Yeah.
It's super important, because it's not just, hey kids, let's have a party. It's like you got to have a
It makes
real
you unique in a way as well in the
Yeah,
market.
right. You have to have a sound business strategy to go to market. I'd say another thing is everyone stresses sort of about a name. And yeah, names are sort of important, but at the end of the day, it's not your name, it's the services that you provide.
Of course. What you bring to the clients.
Exactly. And hopefully, your personal reputations, the personal integrity that each person is bringing to the table is of course really important.
What is the tool that you cannot really live without?
Probably can't live without LinkedIn. I'd say as a startup marketing agency, it's the best tool I found to, apart from us networking, ourselves, to get the word out, to sort of share who we are, to be present, to create, a new audience for what we do. And I've been using LinkedIn's tools, both boosting posts, using some of their targeted marketing, which has been actually quite effective and reasonably priced, to just create a lot more awareness, get reaches, get invited to RFPs and pitches and stuff like that. So to me, that's probably the
Networking
one
is
tool.
very important.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
What about your biggest challenges currently?
Well, I think with any startup, it's leveraging the relationships that you thought you could mine and turning them into tangible revenue-driving clients. I think that's always the case. You may have a lot of relationships that you think you can leverage and turn into clients, but it's not always the case. So it's trying to manage the business side where you need a certain amount of revenue to sort of stay afloat. I think it's important. Every startup has to obviously start with some degree of capital, but you want to manage your burn rate so that you have enough capital to sustain until you can start getting some revenue. So that's always tricky. But again, the benefit of being virtual is your overhead costs are just so low. I mean, what are you paying for, right? You could start off not paying yourself salary. So you basically just have, the monthly expenses of an agency, which is, some of your accounting services, Quicken subscriptions, all the different subscriptions you need to be a viable presence. But that would probably be it.
Finally, what's next for your brand?
Well, I think next is, we sort of basically did a soft launch for the last couple of months. Started to acquire some clients, which is very exciting, and waiting till after the new year to sort of do a really hard push, and then start using LinkedIn pretty aggressively to market ourselves, and get our name out there. Try to get some PR. I'll work with the trades to see if they'll plug me a bit, in the trade publications for advertising, and that's really our sort of focus. But it's again about growing the business. We have a couple of strategic areas that we're focusing on, and our model is mostly servicing smaller to mid-size clients, but they could be in any category. We have strengths in financial services, retail, beauty. Oddly enough. You wouldn't look at me and think I'm a beauty marketer, but I have good expertise there. Spirits, alcohol, stuff like that. So basically, we're going to go after our sort of strategic categories, and see how it goes.
I wish you the very best for your new brand. And with that being said, we just got to the end of our episode. Thank you so much for joining us today, for answering our questions. And for our dear followers, I'll see you next time with a new guest.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you.